Welcome back to Advocacy, Alchemy with Professor Ross. Today we have a good one, guys. We're headed to Los Angeles, California, where LAPD officers responded to a robbery that was right in progress. A tense and fast-moving encounter unfolds within moments. We go from a foot chase to shots fired, and we even have some taser deployment. Now, before we dive in, I want to let you know this short video is compiled by Police Activity. We'll watch it, then we'll break down the legal angles, especially around the use of force, officer commands, and the role of perceived weapons like airsoft guns. With that, let's jump in.
Get back. Sir, get back, get back, get back, get back, get back. Which way you run? Hey! He's over here. Hey, watch your back. Where is he? Get out. Ya. ¿Dónde se fue? ¿Estás bien? Hey, Airship, I think he ran into the parking lot of the U-Haul.
On the north side of this building, in between.
Okay, right here. Hey, hey, hey! Get back! Get back! He got him! Hey! He's right here! Drop the gun! Okay, I see him. Roger, I got the suspect right here in between the building. He's wearing a green shirt, black pants. Get over here! Hey! Get out of there! Hey! Get over here! Get over here! You're gonna get shot! Hey, wait! I got suspect right! Let me see your hands. Hey! It's coming towards you. Hey! Get on the ground, dude. Hey! Get down! Officer needs help! Shots fired! Get down! Officer needs help! Put it down! Get down! Get down! Officer needs help! Shots fired! Get down! No! Hey! Get down, man! Watch out! Crossfire!
He doesn't have anything in his hand.
Let me see! Get down! Get down!
Don't move! Don't move! Don't move! You're gonna get tased again! Don't move! You're gonna get tased again! Do not move! Get your hands behind your back!
You shot me! I'm shot!
No, you're not.
Shot fired!
Hold the frequency, code 4.
Okay, so let's unpack what happened here. All right, on May 28th, 2025, that's just a little over a month ago, around 3:20 in the morning, LAPD officers respond to a robbery. This is somewhere on Southwestern Avenue. Now, they have witnesses, they have an air unit there, and they found the suspect. This is 41-year-old Christopher Hall. Now, he carried what appeared to be a firearm, and he ignored police commands. Officers reported that Hall pointed the gun at them, and that all prompted the officer involved shooting. Now, no one was hit, as I told you there in that video. Now, he tried to climb that fence and continued to flee. The officers tased him, took him into custody, and they found that black airsoft gun. Airsoft means a pellet gun, like a BB gun, okay? For everybody who doesn't know guns, you find them in Walmart. In places like that. Now let's talk about the laws involved. First, you have robbery. Now this is all in California, all right? So if this happened somewhere else, we would look at that law, but this happened in California. All right, that's found in the California Penal Code, section 211, and it's also covered under 213, all right? Both of them are dealing with robbery type of instances, all right? And it says robbery is the taking of property by force or fear. Now, if done with what appears to be a weapon, like a firearm, even if it's a replica, meaning it doesn't shoot, or it's just made just to look like the real thing, it'll still qualify as armed robbery. Now, the penalty is up to 9 years in state prison if a weapon is involved. All right, once again, they would consider that gun that came out looking like a real gun, the orange part looked like it had been taken out, yes. 2, assault with a deadly weapon. All right, this is a different type of charge. We're not talking about the robbery. The robbery is when you come in and you're trying to take money, or you're trying to take valuables, and you're doing it under threats of harm. That's the basis of where robbery is at common law. All right, assault. Assault is when you're just trying to scare somebody. You're not necessarily trying to do another crime after it. All right, this is found in the Penal Code, section 245, section A2. Pointing a gun, real or not, at someone in a threatening way can be considered assault with a deadly weapon if the victim reasonably believes it could cause harm. Here, officers feared for their lives. The replica looked real, and the reaction was legally justified. That guy did something very stupid, okay? It's stupid first to go steal. Very, very stupid to use fake weapons because people think they're real and you get killed, man. Number 3, resisting arrest. This is found under the Penal Code, section 148, section A1. And it states fleeing, disobeying commands, and climbing fences. It doesn't say that, but trying to get away. That all falls under resisting arrest. Hall's behavior fits this charge, okay? Even after being tased, he continued to struggle. Next, let's look at the justification for the use of force. Now, according to the Supreme Court, you have several different cases that have talked about the use of force. The big one is Graham versus Connor. Then you have Tennessee versus Garner. These are the key cases dealing with when the police can use deadly force. Now, if the suspect poses a threat of serious harm, like here, pointing a gun, once again, even if it's a fake one, that crosses the line and the police will be justified in using deadly force against that person. Keep in mind, in the moment, there's no way to know if that gun was real or not. The opening hole for the BB to come out was just as big as a real gun's barrel. Many times with these replicas, they will insert a piece in there. It's either a very different color from what you usually see. Something like an orange, bright orange, then you know this is a toy. All right, next let's move into the evidentiary standards. All right, let's move through the 6 levels of evidence that are used in cases like this, starting with the lowest and moving our way up to the highest. First, you have mere suspicion. Now, this is just a vague hunch. There's no concrete facts just yet. Like a shadowy figure seen in an area he's not supposed to be in. Here, officers had more than this before they arrived, but just a basic 911 call usually establishes mere suspicion. There's no concrete facts yet. Police are called out, and then they see if something's going wrong there, or they take testimony in order to establish our next levels. Moving up, we have reasonable suspicion. That's number 2. Now, this is when the police or the government have specific and articulable facts suggesting some wrongdoing is occurred or is about to occur. Here, witnesses identified Hall. They gave directions as to where he went. An air unit confirmed his movement. Once the police have reasonable suspicion, they can stop a person and they can conduct a short investigation to find out if there is, in fact, criminal activity happening. Moving up one more level, we get to probable cause. Now, this is when the police have enough evidence to believe that a crime has occurred and this person they're interviewing committed it. Here, Hall fled from the robbery scene and he had what looked like a weapon in his hand. This level is where arrest becomes legal. This is where the police either have enough evidence to arrest the person or go to a judge and say, here's all the evidence we have. Please give us a warrant so we can go search and go arrest some folks. Moving up a level, we get to preponderance of the evidence. This level means more likely than not, the claim is true. This is used mostly in civil cases, all right? Now, if we have a person that is a prior felon and they're on probation, this level is also used to determine whether a person will go directly back to jail or to prison to serve out the rest of their sentence. This requires 51% of the evidence in favor of the person bringing the claim to win. Here, if Christopher Hall sued for excessive force against the LAPD, he'd need to show that their actions were more than likely not reasonable given what they knew. Now, I don't think he'd be successful with that, but that's what his burden would be. All right, let's move up one more. Clear and convincing evidence. All right, this means that the person bringing the claim has enough evidence to show that they're highly probable and substantially likely to win their claim. This means that they have the ability to prove their point by having at least 75% of the evidence in their favor. All right, this is the standard that's used in certain cases like family law cases. If a person's claiming that someone defrauded them, they would have enough receipts to prove their claim. All the types of hearings that require this standard need more evidence to meet this burden. All right, this is in between the usual civil standard, which is 51%, and a beyond a reasonable doubt criminal standard. So it's going to require more. Here, if there's an internal review for disciplining any of the officers or for reinstating anyone, this might be the standard. So when you're talking about professional licenses and things of that nature, this is the standard they use, all right? You need more evidence to prove your point, either if they're going to terminate someone or if you're going to fight to get your license back. And finally, we have beyond a reasonable doubt. This is the highest standard in American law. This is the standard that must be met in every criminal conviction. Here, prosecutors would need to meet this level to convict Hall for this robbery or assault. Now, it doesn't mean that it has to be very difficult based on what we've seen, but it just has to be enough evidence. It's required, it's not certainty, all right? That's an important part. It just requires between 90 to 95% of the evidence needs to be in favor of the state in order to convict a person of doing this. And beyond a reasonable doubt means that there is no other reasonable conclusion besides the defendant being guilty of the charges that are brought. All right, so with that, let's move into the jury perspective, because this is an interesting one where it's so obvious that there may be some other components that a person brings. Let's talk about it. All right, now you're on this jury. Now you've seen the footage. Now this is the shortened version. Now the jury that's going to deal with this case, if it goes to trial, is going to see a very long version of what happened, unless there's stipulations from both sides to let in very shortened versions to just get to the point. Now you've seen how the person was dressed when they went to go commit this robbery. He had on women's clothes, but he was obviously a male. He had a full beard and everything else. But he had on a women's, I think, a swimsuit. But that aside, let's start to ask some of these questions. First, the justification of the shooting. Was the officer justified in firing when Hall pointed what looked like a gun at him? Secondary question. Should the officer have held his fire longer? Or was this reaction immediate and appropriate? Does the replica gun change your perspective once you find out later on it's a fake gun? Now, during trial, the defense attorney is going to bring this up constantly. It's a fake gun. They're going to bring it up in opening statement. They're going to make sure it comes out in every witness that they cross-examine. They're going to probably put on an expert to say this gun could not fire a bullet. Everything else. But here, when you're looking at this gun and you find out it's a fake, does that change your perspective at all? Or is it real enough? And understand that when you commit crimes, you don't get hindsight. You're in the moment. A person has to decide what to do right then. When the woman went to the back to go get to her phone to try to call 911 and to get to her mace, she was in the moment. There's a guy here, he's crazy. He's wearing a swimsuit. He pulled a gun out of a, what do they call those little pouches? Anytime I see that pouch, I just think, hey, they got it on them. One final point before we move on though. When you see a situation like this, and it's a high stress moment, not very much time to think, people are acting purely on instinct. Was there enough time for anyone to assess the situation to think that this person was mentally ill or anything of that nature? Or were things happening so fast that people are just caught in the moment? If you were in that alley with a suspect, what would your gut have told you to do? All right, you all tell me in the comments below, guilty or not guilty? All right, now this was a short video compiled perfectly. All right, once again, hats off to police activity. They're always picked up by the news if anyone doesn't know, or if you don't watch the news, that's okay. But it packed a powerful lesson. When officers respond to an armed robbery, every second it matters. Hall, he made a decision to point a replica gun, he ran, and all that brought him inches from losing his life. Key takeaway. Police commands, they're not suggestions. Fake guns can get you some real consequences. Officers have to react in real time. They don't have hindsight, but they have to have instincts. Now I want to hear from you. Was this a justified use of force? Should officers wait longer when they're unsure? What level of evidence would you say was met here? Drop your answers in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Remember, this is Advocacy Alchemy, and I am Professor Ross. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Have a great day. Be safe out there.
Subscribe to Advocacy Alchemy.